The beauty of Samsung is that you might not even realize all the cool things your phone can do, but when the time comes and you actually do use them, that's when you realize how powerful this phone can be. Why get a folding phone? Is it because most other phones nowadays are the same thing over and over again? Is it because they hardly change year after year and you just want to try something else? Or maybe it's just because you want a large display without it being large all the time. For me, well, it's kind of all the above. After using multiple folding phones from the original Pixel Fold to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold and even the OnePlus Open, the Galaxy Z Fold 6 just makes a whole lot of sense, and it's because of one small thing that many people overlook. Does the Z Fold 6 have the best hardware? No. Does the Z Fold 6 have the best specs? No. But the phones that have those things are missing the most crucial detail: a good software experience. I've been using the Galaxy Z Fold 6 for 2 months now, and this phone just does it right. My experience with the phone has been really nothing short of fantastic. It survived the harsh rainfall, it survived a trip to the beach with sand getting all over the phone, and it survived the harsh Florida sun without overheating. Which is crazy because, like, it's Florida. You don't go to Florida and leave not looking like a leather belt. So after all of that, how has the phone physically held up? Because I've been kind of using it without a case. Well, I don't put any screen protector on the front of the phone and it looks brand new. Absolutely no scratches even after putting the phone into a pocket full of sand. The hinge as well as the back of the phone also look brand new, but the Z Fold 6 did take a nasty fall out of my pocket onto concrete, which did leave these blemishes. They are incredibly small. In fact, you guys probably can't even see it, like right there. Yeah, it took a tumble onto concrete, barely any damage. In fact, my iPhone took a tumble onto concrete and it exploded. So if you're clumsy like me, I definitely recommend putting a case on this phone. The one I now use is the Taurus, so not only do you feel more confident when opening the phone, but it also has a MagSafe ring built in to attach MagSafe accessories, and you can even option it with or without the S Pen holder. For more durability, Taurus also has one that protects your hinge, and it even doubles as a kickstand for watching movies, which definitely comes in clutch since this display is fantastic. Now, if you guys are interested, I'll have a link down in the description below. So what about the price of the phone? How well has it held up during these 2 months? Well, oddly enough, Samsung is still running promotions on the Galaxy Z Fold 6. You get double the storage for free along with crazy good trade-in values up to $1,200. And on top of that, even if you're not trading in any phone, Samsung is still going to give you $400. That's kind of wild. These deals obviously won't last long, so again, if you guys are interested in picking this phone up now, it's a pretty good time. I'll have links down below as well. Now, speaking of the price, that's another way that Samsung kind of always wins against the competition, because you're rarely ever paying MSRP for their phones, not just their folding phones, but even their flagship S24 lineup. You never really ever pay MSRP. So when we're taking a look at the folding phones, this phone right now is probably the cheapest one you can get. It's even cheaper than the OnePlus Open, which came out a year ago. That's interesting. Now, I did mention the display earlier, and it's another reason why I just love this phone. Now, since Samsung updated the brightness levels to 2600 nits, using the phone outside has been a pleasure, especially when looking at photos that you've just taken. I find it to be brighter than my iPhone 15 Pro Max, since that one only tops out at 2000 nits, and you could even say that the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is a bit future-proof in that regard, because the upcoming iPhone 16 Pro Max also only goes up to 2000 nits of brightness. But see, Samsung's kind of secret weapon isn't the hardware, it's not the screen, it's not the brightness, it's not the speakers, it's not the S Pen, it's the software. Other companies just take their non-folding phone OS and then just blow it up to scale on their folding phones without really any added benefit. Like the Pixel 9 Pro XL that I was using, for example. You can't separate the home screen on the cover display from the home screen on the inside display. With the Samsung, you can. It's kind of like having two phones in one. You can even have different wallpapers on the inside lock screen compared to the outside lock screen just to give you that extra bit of customization. But another thing that we cannot forget is Samsung DeX. Having the ability to use this phone as a mini laptop is fantastic, especially now more than ever with more smart TVs making their way into homes. I found this to be pretty useful when I went to Washington, D.C. The hotel that I was at had a smart TV. I just connected my Samsung phone to it using Samsung DeX. Boom, you can do whatever you want. You can watch whatever you want. There you go. You can even connect a keyboard and a mouse to it to really further your kind of experience using it as like a mini Chromebook. The beauty of Samsung is that you might not even realize all the cool things your phone can do, but when the time comes and you actually do use them, that's when you realize how powerful this phone can be. Furthermore, the S Pen. Now, I personally don't have the S Pen, but again, that's the beauty of Samsung. If you want it, you have it. And if you don't want it, well, you don't have to get it. Samsung didn't just make a larger version of the S24 Ultra, they spent time perfecting the phone as much as they can. They noticed that, well, hey, we have such a large canvas. Let's do something with it. So giving users the ability to safely use the S Pen to take full advantage of the display just makes a whole lot of sense. But it's not just a stylus. You can use it as a Bluetooth remote to take a photo, to take a video, to control the zoom. You can zoom in, zoom out with it. Samsung didn't have to add all that. They could have just put a stylus in with no Bluetooth functionality and called it a day. Again, remember, Samsung has been using pens on their phones for a long time. I believe since like 2010 or 2011. So they have perfected what other companies either struggle to do or don't do at all. Another big software feature is multitasking, and well, yet again, Samsung does it best. Why? Because they give you the control to do kind of whatever you want. Do you want to be simple and only have 2 apps open side by side? Go right ahead. Do you want 3 apps? Go for it. Do you want 3 apps and a pop-up app for things like messaging? Well, you can do that too. Do you want 6 apps? Yeah, you can do that too. Some might say that it's stupid and no one's gonna use it that way, but I could also argue that the ability to only use 2 apps side by side on a folding phone is also stupid. Why have that 2 app limit on a folding phone when non-folding phones have that same limit? Like, what's the actual benefit here? Why have such a large canvas and not take full advantage of it? Remember, having more control over something is never stupid. After all, you spent your hard-earned money on your phone that you've probably been saving up for quite some time. Don't you want to use it how you want to use it? Yeah, that's the point. Now, of course, folding phones are fragile. They're more fragile than non-folding phones. So what does Samsung do in this case? Well, they upgraded the IP rating of the Z Fold 6 to IP48 so the phone stays as protected as possible while giving consumers a nice peace of mind. Google, for example, had IPX8 rating on the original Pixel Fold, meaning it's not dust protected at all, and the Pixel 9 Pro Fold has that same rating. Google didn't even really bother upgrading the IP rating, even though their folding phone is more expensive than the Galaxy Z Fold 6. Interesting. And if we take a look at the OnePlus Open, well, that phone has even a worse rating than the Pixel Fold, IPX4. Now, the fact is, no folding phone on the planet right now, as of making this video, has an IP48 rating. Samsung realized that people, first of all, folding phones are expensive, right? They're more expensive than non-folding phones, and they're more fragile. Those two don't really go hand in hand with the general public. They're scared of breaking their phones accidentally when they've spent so much money on it. So with Samsung trying to increase the durability of their phones, well, that's definitely what I call a prosumer move. And also not to mention the fact that the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is going to be updated for 7 years. Not only is that good for you, but it's also good for the environment. I feel like nowadays people are too focused on specs instead of looking a little bit deeper and seeing what actually makes a good phone good. The camera quality of the Galaxy Z Fold 6 is also something that cannot be ignored. Is it the best? No. But when you take a look at these photos, do they look bad? Of course not. There are millions of people out there that wish their phones took pictures like this. None of these photos look bad no matter how you spin it. Samsung's camera software and processing look fantastic. The HDR is nice and balanced without giving you that overly fake look. I honestly have no complaints about the camera aside from one small thing. I do wish we had the ability to record 4K 60 and switch lenses at the same time like we can on the Galaxy S24 series. That's kind of bugging me because I love to take a ton of videos, but you know, that's, I guess, one small downside of this phone. Now, the battery life of the Galaxy Z Fold 6 during these 2 months has also been really good. In fact, I think that with this newest update that came out, I feel like it got a little bit better, but that could be a placebo effect, so I'm not going to really say anything about that, but all I know is that this phone lasts me throughout the entire day, and I find it kind of difficult to really drain the battery during my normal day-to-day use. Either way, I'm getting around like 6 to 7 hours of screen on time, which is pretty darn good. I mean, you probably should not be on your phone that long every day. That's kind of bad for your eyes, which makes sense. I wear contacts. Thanks, phones. But all jokes aside, I have no issues with battery life. It's been fantastic. So the Galaxy Z Fold 6, in my honest opinion, is definitely the best folding phone out there with everything that it offers. Yeah, sure, some might have a better camera, but have horrible software. Some might be thinner, but they're more fragile. But as the entire package, you just simply cannot beat the Galaxy Z Fold 6 right now. So what do you think about the Galaxy Z Fold 6? Do you love it? Do you hate it? If you own it, let me know your experience with it down below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy today's video, definitely click that like button. And if you're new here, you like tech videos, definitely hit that subscribe. And as always, this was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.